would actually be the kids. I feel bad for the kids because all that hard work that they put into getting ready for the season, even in the summer right now, just training and getting their bodies ready and doing all these
Exactly.
workouts, and then to have something like this happen, it's a gut wrencher, because you're missing a
Exactly.
whole season.
And it's something that it's something that was a little bit not it's not a shocker just based off of the schools that they're coming from and trying to go to, but like you said, the losers in this case are just the kids,
Yeah.
and so for people wondering, the denial is based on the premise that their only reason for moving schools is solely for an athletic advantage or purpose, uh, not what many would say would be the case of a kid being with their family and moving locations. Like people who have asked me about it is, I know I didn't run a household at 16, 17. So where I live is where my family's at. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm from Houston, and I tried my damnedest to stay in Houston, but where my mom was, I had to go. So my mom moved to San Antonio, so I moved to San Antonio. So I mean, it's just one of those things in which uh, this might be at the level of a Demond Demas from last year, a receiver who was trying to move from North Forest in Houston and go to Tomball High School. Now he presented the case that it wasn't safe for him to be there, and that he was leaving for a better education, and a better way to get into college, from the schools that he was at to the one that he's going to. But the main thing he was talking about was his safety, and he was denied as well, and he didn't get to play at all his senior year, because he continued to stay at Tomball because his reasons for the transfer were not football focused, and as he got denied, 2 weeks later, some people got shot outside of his high school at the gas station. So
Man.
I say that this might not be that dire situation as what was presented from another transfer. But when kids get asked to speak out and say stuff and speak up, and they actually do it, and then in turn it's not heard by people who are supposed to be guiding and helping them, uh, who's the real winner there when he's trying to tell you it's a situation that you might not be aware of, and then something happens, and now it's like, oh, you
Yeah.
know.
Right.
So in this case, uh, in this case, man, you just hope the best for the kid and for LJ and Jordan. I do expect them to land on their feet. Um, but do y'all have any questions on that?
No, man, my heart just goes out to the kids, and their families, because even the families, like the mom and the dads, they know how hard these kids are out there working and grinding out there trying to get ready for the season, So hopefully, they stay diligent, the appeals process will go through and it'll be in favor of the kids. I'm rooting for
Right.
them, hoping they can get back out there on the field and participate, and be part of this, be part of the football team moving forward.
Well,
Exactly.
I actually
Um,
do have a question, and a lot of it is because we already have this potential scenario where kids could be missing their senior year across the city anyway, as
yeah.
far as
Yeah.
football's concerned and sports, but even if this stretches into basketball season. And I know that we're really trying to get football off the ground first, and something we've discussed kind of at length here, Bidamone, is how that impacts their recruiting process, missing an entire year on the field and stuff like that. So is this going to impact these kids for college negatively, or do you think that this is one of those things, and do they even focus on the high school element anymore, or is this something where maybe they just focus on a 7-on-7 element and prepare their body the best they can for the next level and in terms of getting offers, because these are already two top talents?
So are you okay? So you're just referring to the two students at hand?
Yeah, it's just the two students at hand right
Okay.
now because, obviously the UIL is trying to push forward and at least give students across the sport, an
Yeah.
opportunity. As long as there's classes, they're saying we'll allow the kids on the field.
Right.
But these
Right.
two specifically, Jordan, I know he was in your top 10, near the top of that
Yeah.
top 10. I think it was 1 or 2
Right.
for your quarterbacks going into this season. And I'm just interested how that impacts his future as well.
Yeah, it can impact it greatly because, for one, you don't want to not have any senior season film just based off being a kid. Like you want to show you at your best in high school,
Right.
and normally that's people's senior year. Jordan does still have offers that I don't think will be affected by the fact that he may not play his senior year. But I know that there's other offers that could be out there that if he gets a chance to step on the field, this is a top 10 athlete in the city that, whatever team that he would be on, he's an automatic difference. LJ has rushed over 2,000 yards in the last 2 seasons. So he is an impact player wherever he would go. It just feels like, like whatever move was made, that it could be made, just don't go to Judson.
Wow.
But as far as the recruiting side it's gonna have an impact, but I think they'll both land on their feet. As far as a decision being made, I think both of them playing in their senior year would definitely do them more good than it would hurt. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, definitely,
Appreciate
man.
that.
You know what? We really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us about this because you are a resident expert, and you're shedding some light on this sensitive subject here. So I appreciate you again taking the time. And I let everybody know, like always, make sure you go and follow Brandon at BDamone on Twitter, and that is BDAMMONE on Twitter. Make sure you give him a follow. Make sure you give him a like. He brings not only high school football, sports, as far as breaking news and all the great content that he has out there, but you also bring out some great UT stuff as well, right, Brandon?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And just on that note, UT just received the commitment of the #1 player in the nation for the 2022 class.
Wow, that's
quarterback from South Lake Carroll, Quinn Ewers, and yeah. He's a beast.
yeah, man. So hook 'em, man. I'm looking forward to seeing some Longhorn football, but we'll see how that goes with all the latest breaking news that's been dropping with all these conferences, So it'll be interesting to see who stays afloat,
Definitely. I definitely look forward to. I hope there's a season. I just hope everybody stays as safe as possible and
Me
kids
too.
follow the protocols and adults take this thing seriously, because sometimes it's the adults that are the problem and not the kids.
Yeah, definitely
Joe,
will.
do we have time for one more question I'd like to squeeze in here?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
All right, because I know we're coming up on the hour.
Well, I might have one after that too.
Okay.
I'll try to keep mine quick here then, really fast. And this is maybe even more just a yes or no, but we've already seen the transfer game trickle down from the in the pro level, athletes trying to force where it is they want to go to make the best team. College level, athletes wanting to enter the transfer portal and put themselves in the best position to be on the best team possible.
Right.
And this is going to be only a situation, where if transfers remain start to grow at the high school level, situations like Jordan is facing right now can become more and more prevalent as the organizations that will have to be a little bit more stringent in their investigations as to why students are moving, whether it's for work purposes or athletic purposes.
Right.
Do you see this as kind of like a tipping point where the powers that be need to kind of make a decision and start laying down some laws, or can this get out of hand quick?
I think that there needs to be a clear set of preparatory, transferring, acknowledgement that is required, because I think that the kid might be one of the first to know. Just it just depends on the parent situation. Once again, when the parent is involved, then the kid doesn't matter, because the kid doesn't run the household. But if a situation comes up and the parent has to move, what is the protocol in order to ensure that, regardless of if my kid is a top 10 player or a bench rider, if my kid wants to go to another school, or we are in a situation to where I have to move to another school,
right?
What's the purpose about this? Because everything's fine as long as the school where the kid is coming from doesn't flag it. So, a coach has to say, I think this transfer is only for a athletic person, and then that sets off the alarms, and you get the hearings, and then you get the denial. So, really, I mean, there has to be a cleaner way of transferring. That I guess is more so in the player's favor, because if one person feels a certain way or thinks a certain thing, then it ultimately can just outweigh everything that's going on. So I think there needs to be a cleaner process that helps the player out.
Awesome. Yeah, I
most
agree.
definitely. Hey, Orlando had a quick question. Orlando, what were you gonna ask?
Yeah, no. Well, my question was like this. I know this situation, like what the news broke. It's unfortunate, but it's the situation. I wanted to ask, though, like, at least from your knowledge, has this